Yeah, you are now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You are now listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. It is Monday, people. It is Monday. Hope all is well with everyone. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody's having a great start to your week. We're back on the grind once again for those Monday through Friday people that have the weekend off. But for those who may be not as fortunate to get the weekend off, but it is Monday. Hope you're having a great day today. If you had a day off today, hope you got some rest and relaxation in. But we're back to talk about these issues. Want to thank you once again, as I always do, for tuning in. We are here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. It's the normal scheduled time, but you know sometimes life happens and you have to alter your schedule, and you kind of go from there. But I want to thank you for tuning in. We over 3 years, over 3+ years we've been on the air, and I want to thank all my listening audience, my ride or dies is with me every night, my one-time listeners, my seldom listeners, anybody that has tuned into the show, whether it's on Facebook or WPMM Internet Radio or YouTube, what have you, anytime that you have tuned in, I really do appreciate your support and listening to the show, even to my haters, even to the haters, the one that want to spy on me and see what I'm doing. I appreciate you listening as well. You're a fan as well. So I thank you for tuning in. And I know I'm going to have some haters on tonight, and I appreciate you joining in with me. So, but we're going to talk about these issues. Also, tonight we have a few issues we're going to discuss, and then we're going to get into Monday Night Football talk as well. So stick and stay. If you want to join in on the conversation, we're not taking phone calls. However, you can drop your comments into the comment section on Facebook. If you're viewing on Facebook, drop your comments in there and we can read your comments. Also, I'll be putting the link up if you want to join me live. I'll be putting the link in the on the screen here in a few moments. So if you want to join me live, you can do that as well. But if you do join me live, that means you have to be on camera. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I will put the link up here in a few moments. So, but we are WPMM Internet Radio, where we play more music. We are under the umbrella of Change Horizon Media Group, LLC, the parent company. Well, we play the best in R&B, jazz, neo soul, talk. Excuse me. We got the independent music, hip hop, old school. We got it all. You can listen at WPMMradio.com. You can go to iTunes, tune in on YouTube. You can, also, you can tell Alexa to play WPMM. She will oblige as well. You can download the app from the website, the WPMMradio.com, or go to the Google Store or the Apple Store and download the free app. It is free. Also, we're live on Facebook, once again on YouTube as well, and Twitch. The views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to malign with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, or anyone or anything. All right, now that we have that out the way. But tonight we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the situation over at Warrington Preparatory Academy, the basketball program that was shut down here. We'll discuss that and talk about a few things in that regard. So stick and stay for that. We're also going to talk about Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is the talk of the town right now, and I'm trying to understand. Reason I included him in this because I'm trying to understand, and it's go deeper than just college football in that aspect. Because I'm trying to understand why do we continuously try to throw shade and throw salt in somebody's game when they're doing well. You know, especially, you know, when you see a black man that's doing well, that's doing great things, that's doing things that's never been done before. And we still have those haters out there that just want to pull him down. And you don't have to be a Colorado fan to support what he's doing. But I'm trying to understand why people are hating on him so much. We'll talk about that as well. Also, we're about 6 days away from a government shutdown. We'll talk about that. The Republicans are acting an ass, and the government may shut down in another 6 days, and the effects of that can be detrimental to a lot of people. So we'll talk about that issue as well. Also, if we have time, we're going to jump into the local situation because we still have a lot of local violence that is going on in our area, and we'll talk about that as well. And then we have the Monday night football talk. We're going to go over the scores and analyze some things in the football world because it is football season. We're deep into the season. As far as college season, we are on week 4 or week 5 in the college season, and we are on week 3 in the pro season. And we'll talk about those scores over the weekend as well. And as I said, let me see if I can. Again, I produce my own shows and I engineer my own shows. So if I stop talking, that means I'm doing something on a computer, on one of these computers in front of me. And I'm one of those people that can't do 2 things at once. If I start typing something, I'm end up saying what I'm typing. So if I pause, I'm not Mitch McConnell. I didn't freeze up. I'm just trying to do something here, and I'm trying not to say what I'm doing. So, but anyway, let's see what we got going on here. But again, I'm gonna put the link up on the. I'm gonna put the link up on the screen here. If you want to join me, I'm not sure what I'm doing. If you want to join me on the show, I'm going to put the link up. Mr. J Dizzle, if you're out there, I'm trying to link the WPMM page to that. So if you're out there listening, go ahead and link that up for me. I'd appreciate it because I am not sure what I am doing. But anyway, let's start out. Want to start out the situation at Warrington Preparatory Academy, if you will. And let me get that link up that I just said that I was going to do so people don't think that I was just bull jiving. As soon as I find it, we're going to get it here. But I want, if you're looking to join the show, all right, the link is up on the screen now. So if you're looking to join me, please just follow the instructions under the link. And once you get in the waiting room, I will see you. You should pop up on my end, and I will bring you on in. Miss Sabre, good to see you this evening. Good evening, Miss Sabre. Good to see you. Hope you and Mr. Oscar are doing well over there. But let's talk about this situation over at Warrington Preparatory Academy with the boys basketball program. It was shut down, and it was shut down for. Let me put it this way. I feel sorry for those kids over there at Warrington Prep. They having a hard enough time just dealing with life itself, because particularly, Warrington, we know Warrington, we know that school had some issues and they had to go under, charter because of the school was continuously getting failing grades and whatnot. And the teachers were frustrated. The administration was frustrated. It was a big deal with the school board and whatnot, and eventually it was taken over through a charter school, to my understanding. So those kids over there already have an issue, and when you get into a situation where these kids are trying to do things that within the school that makes them happy, if you will, because kids don't do stuff they do things that they like doing, and this basketball program is one thing that coming up in my day, I love playing basketball. Basketball was my passion. I played more basketball than I did any sport out there. And I can, I just hate that these kids are going through this. But, who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's at fault in this situation? And you can't blame the kids because they're only following the directions of the grown-ups. And then it seemed to be a back and forth, the way I see it, a back and forth with the situation with the grown-ups as to who will take the fall, if you will. But let me just read you the background. This story is put out by WAR 3 is where I'm getting the information in regards to the information according to involving Warrington Prep. It said the Warrington Prep basketball team is sidelined due to academic ineligibility and age limits. There's a bump in the road for the Escambia County newest charter school. It involves a sports program. Less than one game in, the Warrington Preparatory Academy and Escambia County has canceled their basketball season. Principal of the new charter says the Escambia County School District ruled them ineligible to participate in their league because of academic standards. The new charter school was found to be playing with ineligible players that were either over the age limit or struggling academically. Escambia County Public Schools confirmed to WER News on Wednesday that the decision was left to Warrington Prep, who elected to cancel their season. We'll talk about that because that don't even sound right. But anyway, Principal Dr. Erica Foster said that ultimately the decision was up to the students, which I'm not understanding that. We'll talk about that here in a moment as well. So we gave the students three choices: either to continue to play with the Escambia County school lineup and our games wouldn't count, or we can remove the students that were not academically sound, or we can create our own schedule. Dr. Foster said, so I thought that the athletes, I brought the athletes in the gym and they made that decision. Dr. Foster says the issue arose from student GPAs at the former Warrington Middle School last year, not the performance this year. WR News has been told by parents at the school that 2 students were over the age limit and 5 of them did not make the grades to play. What's unclear is why the school administration wasn't aware of the requirements before the season started. Coach Luke Timothy May says the season was never canceled, only being adjusted. Play on words there. They're looking now for a new slate of games. We're working on as we speak. This is Luke Timothy May speaking here. There's a lot of private schools and other charters in similar situations we are. Now, we don't know any evidence to back that up. But anyway, it was said by the coach, Luke Timothy May. Coach May said the season never ended. We just had to modify it, just had to transition. The season never ended. We just have to adjust and play schools in situations like ours. Y'all look at my face. Bullshit. But anyway, continue on with the story. For the players that say that at this point it's out of their control and they are ready for whatever games come their way. And it's not just the boys basketball team whose season was canceled. WA News told that the girls team also voted not to play because of the situation with the boys team. So now we have the boys team that's being affected, and we have the girls teams that supposedly followed suit and said, we're not going to play because the boys not going to play. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy in my eyes, because those girls have to advance to the high school level. They're trying to get somewhere. Those kids that are playing on the boys team are trying to advance to the high school level and trying to get somewhere. And sitting out a whole season not playing basketball is detrimental to the development of these kids in their sport and their sport of choice. So, and I do want to hear from you guys on this subject as well, your thoughts, because again, I've read these particulars, if you will, and now let's try to get into it a little bit. This, as I stated in the beginning, Warrington Preparatory Academy used to be Warrington Middle School, and we know that the Warrington Middle School had issues. We know that Warrington Middle School had the subpar performance in regards to grades and things of that nature. That's why it was taken over and is now a charter school, Warrington Preparatory Academy. There's a new principal there, and I'm assuming there's a lot of new teachers there. With the teacher shortage that we have in the state of Florida alone, I can imagine that that charter school is having the same issues that everybody else is having in regards to trying to put teachers on staff. They're probably short staffed, just like all the other schools. But when you come to putting these kids into situations where they are participating in an extracurricular activity, a sport or music wise or drama wise or what have you, anything extracurricular, you know that there are requirements. Anybody know that there are requirements. That's not anything that should be a surprise to anybody. It's not anything that any teacher or administrator is not aware of. However, with the administrator, when I say the administrator, I'm particularly talking about the principal in this case. With the administrator, they hire a staff. The administrator hire a staff, and the staff is given a responsibility, a duty, a course of action to take in regards to doing their job. If they are leading anyone in a extracurricular activity, they're given the tools and the necessities that they need in order to run whatever program that they are over. And the principal put it in the hands of that staff member to make sure that all the ducks are in a row, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and you carry on with your program. The principal is ultimately responsible for anything that goes on in a school. But again, the principal can't, it is basically impossible for a principal to be able to see, lay hands on, authorize anything and everything going on in school when you have 300-400 kids running around in school. They can't put their finger on everything. That's why they hire a staff to do that. With this boys basketball team, they hired a coach. That coach's name is Timothy May. That coach was responsible for making sure that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, all the physicals are required, made sure that all the teammates had, the people on the team had physicals. If the grades and GPAs were required, they were responsible for making sure that these kids had the grades and the GPA necessary to play. Also, making sure that you had proof of birth, if you will, to where you can verify these children's ages. That is in the hands of the coach. That is in the hand of the coaching staff to make sure that all those are done. And it's not just in basketball, in baseball, football, softball, track and field, golf, volleyball, flag football, lacrosse, any sport that band, any ROTC, you're responsible as a coach, as a teacher, to make sure all those things are taken care of. Now, this is somewhat of an opinion, but I'm giving my opinion on this situation. I personally believe, and I think that I'm correct in my assumption, that the administrators and the coaching staff there was aware that they had kids that were not eligible in regards to grades, that you had kids that were over the age that is set forth by the guidelines of Florida schools, if you will, to participate. So apparently there's an age limit that you can participate in a sport in a middle school. There's an age limit that you can participate in a sport in high school. In high school, the age is 19. If you turn 19 by a certain date or whatever, you either, if it's before that date, you're eligible. If it's after that date, you're ineligible. In regards to age, we know that there's a mandatory GPA that you have to maintain in order to play. And when you go into the school year and you're in the first grading period of the school year, and your sport starts before a grading period comes around, you go by the grades that from the previous year. I'm not an educator, I'm not a teacher, but I got common damn sense. So we all know, supposed to look at the grades. It's if the child coming into the school year is eligible, just like you do football. You know, the football players have to make sure that they have that GPA coming out of the prior year, coming into the new school year. in order to be eligible, make sure they have the grades and whatnot. And then they, go out through the season. They change grade periods in the middle of the season. And we have to see if they have the grades and the GPA to continue on the plan. If they don't play. And I played high school sports. I've been around high school sports. My son played high school sports. And every coach that he had was aware of his GPA. Every coach that he had was aware of his age. I've seen where he played with kids that were on the borderline of being too old or what have you, and some of those players couldn't play. Even when I was in high school, there was an individual on my football team that was over the age, and our coach recognized the fact that this kid was not of age, and he applied the principles and the guidelines and the rules and regulations, and that kid was not able to play. One of the best players out there, but he was not able to play. That's how things work. Now the administrators, the coach in this particular situation, I put out a post a little while ago, and I said that you always want to check the character of the kid, of the coaches and the people that you turn your child over to. I really think they should have checked the character and the background of the person they was handing these kids over to, because now these kids are facing a situation where they're not able to play basketball. We're looking for alternative methods to maintain or to continue to cheat, if you will. Because if you're playing middle school students and you're going against the guidelines in regards to the grades and the ages, and you're trying to find an alternative way to continue to cheat, that's not the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to follow the rules and regulations. Those kids that were eligible and remaining on the team, my understanding there were still 8 kids on the team that were eligible. He could have continued on with the season with those 8 kids instead of punishing those 8 that were eligible. And not necessarily that they're punishing the ones that were, didn't have the GPA, but that's just giving them the incentive to work harder in regards to their schoolwork so that they can get back on the team. But instead of doing that, they decided, okay, nobody's going to play. And then the girls follow suit. Nobody's going to play. And if I'm not mistaken, middle school is age, 15, 13, 14-year-old kids, and you giving them the responsibility of saying if they're going to play or not. I just don't believe that. I don't believe them kids had the option. I don't believe that they made that decision. Why are you putting as adults, as a coach, as administrator, why are you putting that decision in the hands of 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds? That's an adult decision. That's an administrative decision. That's a coaching decision to be made. You don't put that in the hands of 12-year-olds. But these kids that are playing this sport are now out. And if they continue to play the sport, they're playing under the auspice of cheating, if you will. The coach is trying to find a way for them to continue to cheat instead of going through the rules and regulations as set forth by Escambia County Schools. What are we teaching our kids? Are we teaching our kids it's best to find loopholes and cheat, or follow the rules and regulations and get along in life? What are we teaching our kids? So with that whole situation, it pissed me off because I'm looking at it from the kid standpoint. I'm looking at it from the standpoint that these kids are not being afforded an opportunity to increase their skills, to participate in the extracurricular activity, and they're being robbed of an experience that every aspiring basketball player want to do. I remember when I was in middle school, the boys basketball team was like the shit, if you will. Those guys on the basketball team walked around with their chest poked out, and they was on top of the world. And you mean to tell me that you have a bunch of 13, 12-year-olds that said, I don't want to play because this person is not eligible and because this person is not too old? If you have a 16-year-old on a team, a middle school team, that should be an indication. Well, maybe this kid is too old to play with these 12-year-olds, these 11-year-olds. You got a 15-year-old on the team. You think, well, maybe they're too old. Let me check the rules and regulations. Let me make sure that it's okay to play this 15, 16-year-old with these 10-year-olds, the 11-year-olds. Common damn sense. So I'm bothered, and I seen the response of the principal there at Warrington Preparatory Academy, and I think that she's trying to save face. I think she is because she's ultimately responsible. I think that she's trying to save face. Again, I think that the basketball coach should have been the one to make sure everything was done. The administrator can't put their finger on anything and everything that goes on in that school. There's no way a principal knows everything that goes on in that school. That they no way they know who's has a GPA of what. When you're dealing with 600, 300 kids or what have you, 300 kids, there is no way one administrator, one principal is going to know what the GPA of all 600, 300, 400 of those kids are going to be. It's not possible. But if you break it down into smaller groups and you have a smaller group here under the basketball team, a smaller group here under the volleyball team, a smaller group here in the drama club, a smaller group here in the chorus, and you can have those people who are responsible for making sure that these individuals are eligible. It's easier to manage it that way. And you go to your people that are over as administrator. You go to your basketball coach and say, is everyone in line? Is everyone eligible that is on the court right now? Is everybody, all the kids have their grades up? Did you check the birth certificates? And is everybody eligible to play? And if that person reports to the administrator, and the administrator hired that person, or that person was hired under that administrator, and they expect that for that person to be up front. So it's a sad situation for those kids. Again, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you in regards to Warrington Preparatory. What do you think? What do you think about the situation? Put your comments in the comment section. And if they come in while we are still doing the show, I will read those comments. So moving on, if you just joined us, we just finished talking about Warrington Preparatory Academy, but I'll go back to it if we have comments on it. Prime, Coach Prime. Here's why I'm talking about Coach Prime today. And it's not necessarily about football. It's about Black people coming together. It's particularly about Black people coming together. Coach Prime went from coaching and facilitating youth football, where he spent his own money to make sure the kids had what they needed. Also, he was, as a coach, he made sure that those kids were coached properly. He went to the high school level. He coached there as well at the high school level, and he made sure those kids were taken care of. And then he went on to the college level, and he went into the college as a head coach in a HBCU at Jackson State. And then he was recognized as an excellent coach and an excellent motivator and an excellent role model to these kids. And he was able to elevate to the Power 5 conference and become coach at Colorado. He has done stuff at Colorado that no other coach has done before, in regards to just the hype, the recognition, the excitement, if you will. He is bringing something to college football. He's making these kids with this NIL. He's giving these kids opportunity to make money while they're in school through the NIL. He's generating money for the city of in the state of Colorado. Ticket sales are they're sold out in Colorado. The seats are season tickets are sold out. I mean, there's interest in 5-star kids, 5 and 4-star kids that want to go to play for Buffalo, which you didn't have that excitement prior to. Deion has done a lot for the college game. He did a lot for the HBCUs. At Jackson State, he took money out of his own pocket. He took money from his own salary to make sure those kids had a facility that was comparable to those in the Power 5, to those schools, to the bigger schools, where they had locker rooms that were that look like a college locker room, where they have facilities that look like college facilities. Because before, when he got to Jackson State, they didn't have any of that. He came out of his own pocket to make sure that happened. But my issue is, again, it's not really about football. It's about black folks. It's about black people that have this crab in the bucket mentality. And regardless of what this man is doing, regardless of all the great things that he's doing, my black people, my black brothers and sisters, keep finding a reason to pull him down. They keep finding a reason to say negative things about him. They finding a reason to just support the man. Let the man be successful, because I'm glad he has the attitude that he has, because if he listened to some of y'all, he would be in the crazy house somewhere. Why can't this man be successful with y'all throwing salt on him? I'm not understanding. Somebody please explain it to me. Mr. Pugh, how you doing, Mr. Pugh? Mr. Pugh put on the comments, most watched game close to a Super Bowl. This man had a game that started at 10 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock Central Time. 9 o'clock Central Time. I was on the East Coast when this game. This is Colorado State. Colorado and Colorado State. Game came on at 10 o'clock at night. Is when the game started. This game ended at 2:30 in the morning. And millions of people watched this game from start to finish. Colorado and Colorado State. No other college game has generated this much hype. The only other football game that generated more hype than that game was the Super Bowl, like Mr. Pugh said. And y'all still hating on this man. Season tickets are sold out in Colorado. And y'all still hating on this man. He's giving these kids opportunity to be recognized national. Even with the other teams that he's playing, he's giving them a platform on prime time. The next game coming up, they play Oregon. They play USC. Prime time television. But y'all hating on him. Why can't a black man be successful without y'all hating on him? And I'm not saying all y'all. I know all y'all ain't hating on him, but we have some idiots, you know. And I wish I could get a hold of what's that idiot name? Jason Whitlock. I wish I could talk to Jason Whitlock. I done reached out to him to talk to me. And I wish he'll talk to me, because that asshole, he is hell bent on tearing down black people in general, but he is particularly trying to tear down Coach Prime and his program over there. I've heard evangelicals talk about Coach Prime. These religious folk, these church folks that's supposed to be so godly. I'm hearing church folks talking about him, and they talking about the choice of music that he chooses, and they talking about why he got Lil Wayne coming out, why he didn't come out to a gospel song. Shut the hell up. You're pissing me off, because you're so damn holy that you're making yourself look ignorant. Why should this man be any different than you? You go to church every freaking Sunday, you in Bible study every Sunday, but you dropping it like it's hot on Saturday night. And you're smoking and drinking, but you want to criticize this man for bringing out for Lil Wayne coming out and performing before his team come out, and why he ain't playing God, why he ain't playing Kirk Franklin music, why he ain't playing Hezekiah Walker, because he's a man and he's doing great things, and you just hating on him because you ain't got nothing else to do. Leave that damn man alone. Mr. Pugh said we have slave mentality. Don't want another brother to succeed. I don't understand. After everything we went through, I'm assuming that's supposed to be. And I'm with you, Mr. Pugh. Why can't a black man be successful without other black people tearing them down? Why do we have to throw salt in that game? But if you say Nick Saban, black people behind Nick Saban like crazy. Nick Saban can't do no wrong. Nick Saban is a god. Nick Saban It's the savior of football. Nick Saban is this, that, and the other. Can't say nothing bad about Nick Saban, but you want to throw shade on Deion. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with the haters out there? Why are we doing that to our own people? Deion was one of the greatest athletes to live. He was one of the greatest athletes to play the position that he did in the sport of football. He was one of the greatest athletes in baseball. He played both sports at the same time, football and baseball. There's not very many that did that. Him, Bo Jackson is the only two that I can think of right off the bat that did them at the same time, played major league baseball and played in the pro league all at the same time. Okay, Matt. Am I okay now, Mr. Pugh? Let me know. Am I okay now? I'm saying a lot. I don't want to not be heard. Let me know if I'm okay. So, but this man has played in Super Bowls. He's played on World Series caliber baseball teams. He has done some amazing things in regards to the sports, and he has done some amazing thing as far as mentoring and making sure that these kids are taken care of. If you talk to the kids that he has mentored and that he has coached, those kids would tell you that Deion is like a father to them. Deion, a lot of those kids don't have fathers in their life, and Deion has been a father to them. And I'm talking about from the time he was coaching Little League up until right now he's in Colorado. But y'all still hating on that man. But y'all praise Nick Saban. Y'all praise Jimbo Fisher. Y'all praise Norvell down there, and y'all praised all these other coaches, but you throw salt in the game when it comes to Deion. I don't understand. I promise you, I don't understand. Leave that damn man alone. Let that man be successful, and stop hating on him. Appreciate what he's doing because he's helping a lot of kids, and that's the important thing. We need people like Deion Sanders to help these kids and give these kids opportunities to be great. We don't have enough black men in the world that are doing that are giving these men an opportunity, that are in a position to give these men opportunities, these young men opportunities. So stop hating on this man. I'm one of those people that I'm not a Colorado fan, but I like what Deion is doing in Colorado. I want him to succeed. I'm a realist. He's not going to win every game. He already lost one game. He's going to lose 2 or 3 more this season. Just looking at the schedule. He'll lose 2 or 3 more, but he's going to have a successful season. They was 1-11 last year. They were 1-11. They won one freaking game last year. Average ticket price was $120 last year. Average ticket price this year, because Deion has changed the game, is $500 and some odd for tickets. Season tickets has sold out. He's changed the game. He's putting these kids on a platform that they have never been on before. And you guys are hating on them. Cut it out. Cut it out. And I'm going to start calling you out by name if you continue to dog Deion. But I do want to talk to Jason Whitlock. So if anybody have any connections and can get me to whether I go on his show or he come on mine, I want to talk to him because I'm so tired of him going. His platform is way bigger than mine, and he goes on this platform and he talks to the white racist folks and get them exactly what they want to hear. Mr. Pugh said, give him a couple more years and he will shut them up. Yeah, and it's going to be this year because he's going to win. He's going to win 8 or 9 games this season. He'll go 8-3, 7-4, somewhere in there. He'll be bowl eligible, so they'll play in a bowl game, and the bowl game is going to sell out. Anywhere he plays is going to generate revenue for that city or what have you. It's going to bring millions of dollars into the city on that particular game. But you still want to hate on him. A successful black man who, through his own tragedies and through his own hardships, have continued to pour into these kids. This man was running around here that had half his damn foot amputated, and he was still rolling around here on a scooter, coaching and mentoring these kids. Never gave up. Mr. Dawson, good to see you on here. He said Mr. Dawson put a comment. He said he was bound to have a loss. He already ahead of the year with wins. Yes, he's 3-1. He's 3-1. He got the same record Alabama got right now. Same record LSU got right now. And Mr. Saban, y'all praise him. Roll Tide. Kiss my ass. Y'all start supporting these black people around here. Start supporting these black men, these black women that are doing great things. Stop throwing shade and stop hating on them. We need to cut that crap out. It's not good. But anyway, let's roll on along. Monday night football talk. Let's go over these scores. We still got a little ways to go in the show. So let's go over the scores. It was an interesting weekend in college football. Had some struggles, had some losses that were, some predictable, some not predictable. But let's see what happened in the world of college football. Again, if you have comments in the content section, and we definitely will. If you want to go back to a subject that we already talked about, well, you can drop your comments into that one as well. We started out on let me make sure I got the right scores. Wait a minute. Let's see. I see September. There we go. All right. Let me get on the right page. My computer thinking right now. Let's see where we at. Okay. All right. We in week 4. Week 4 of college football. Started out the week with Georgia. Georgia beat UAB 49-21, which is expected, but UAB just didn't lay down for them. They gave them competitive game. They hung in there as long as they could. But 49-21 Georgia over UAB. Michigan beat Rutgers 31-7. Texas 38-6 over Baylor. I have to say that game was, I'm not going to say it was surprising. I thought it was going to be a closer game. I thought Baylor would show up a little bit more than that, but Texas played a good game. My Seminoles, we pulled it out. Defense stood up, and we was able to pull it out. Florida State over Clemson. We hadn't beat Clemson in 70 years. Last 7 years they done won, and we finally got a win out of Clemson in their house, 31-24 in overtime. USC 42-28 over Arizona State. Again, that game was closer than most people thought it was going to be. Again, you cannot count out these smaller schools anymore. It's not like it used to be. Can't count them out. Ohio State, Notre Dame. That was two top 10 teams going head to head. The game was everything that people expected it to be. 17-14, and a defensive struggle on that one. Ohio State pulled that one out. Penn State 31-0 over Iowa, and I'm going to say that was a surprise. I thought Iowa would play them tougher than what they did. Iowa was 3-0 coming into that contest. So was Penn State. They were 3-0, but I thought Iowa was. I'd never seen a shutout in that one. Didn't think that was going to happen. Washington over California 59-32. There seemed to be a buzz about Washington in regards to how good they are this year. So we're going to see how they continue to progress, if you will. Quarterback of Washington threw for 300, over 300 yards with 4 touchdowns. So he had a good game. Then we had Colorado, Oregon. That game, again, going back to Dion, that game, I said in the beginning when I look at Colorado's schedule, I said in the beginning that Oregon was going to be one of the teams that more than likely will be Colorado. I was correct. Did I expect Colorado to only score 6 points? No, I did not. I thought they would score a few more, 2 or 3 times or what have you. But I kind of figured they were not in position right now to beat that Oregon team. Even though not saying they couldn't beat them, but I did not think they were going to win. The results are what I thought they were going to be. They move on to play US next week. Colorado move on to USC. I expect them not to win, even though I want them to win, but I expect them not to win against USC, the returning Heisman Trophy winners quarterback in at USC. So I expect a game to where they may not win, but I expect it to be more competitive than what they did against Oregon. So that'll be next week. Utah beat UCLA 14-7. Utah's another team that Colorado's going to have issues with. Utah's 4-0 right now. UCLA was 3-0 coming into that game. It was a defensive struggle, 14-7 in that game. Utah took it out. LSU 34-31 over Arkansas. Arkansas, and what I can't understand is why is LSU ranked above all these unbeaten teams, and they played Arkansas within 3 points, and they ranked above a lot of 4-0 teams. Same with Alabama. They beat Ole Miss 24-10. Alabama's not blowing anybody out. They're not being impressive. However, they are ranked above a lot of unbeaten teams. I don't understand. Even I think the teams like Duke are playing better ball than Alabama, but they put out, how dare you put Duke above Alabama? Um, you know, precious Nick Saban. You can't touch Nick Saban. He's a god. Kiss my ass, Nick Saban. But anyway, Mr. Pugh said he was talking about the Colorado game. He said they play without Travis Hunter. Yeah, when you play without your number one athlete on the team, that definitely makes a difference. Let's see. We had Washington State over Oregon State, 38-35. Oklahoma over Cincinnati, 20-6. North Carolina, 41-24 over Pittsburgh. North Carolina is no longer just a basketball school. They are coming along. These teams in the ACC that's known as basketball schools. They playing some football now, like Duke, 41-7 over UConn. Duke has never been known as a football school, but they are playing. Duke has some athletes. They got some top quality athletes on that team. Duke gonna cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. I'm scared of Duke because Duke is in the ACC and Florida State's in the ACC. So, I'm not saying that they're going to beat Florida State, but I'm not going to say I'm not worried. I'm definitely worried. Miami over Temple. Miami's 4-0. Again, Alabama's 3-1, but they got Miami ranked way down number 20. I'm not even a Miami fan, but you got LSU and Alabama ranked ahead of them. Tennessee, 3-1. They beat UTSA, which is the given. Florida over Charlotte, and that game was way closer than what it should have been. Florida 22-7 there. So a lot of interesting things is happening in college ball, and like I keep saying, in the college world today, you can't count out these smaller schools because of the transfer portal. The transfer portal has changed the college game. It has changed the quality of athletes at these smaller schools. A lot of these 4-stars and 5-star kids are ending up at the smaller colleges, and not in the powerhouses that we're somewhat used to, if you will. So it's a whole different ball game now. It's a whole different ball game. So you can't just look at a schedule and think that the big school is going to win automatically, because it don't happen that way. So let's go over let's go move on to the let's move over to the pros. Let's move over to the pros. Let's go over the scores of the pros again. If you Mr. P said strength of schedule. Yeah. I think if you're undefeated, you should be, But anyway, we'll talk about that on another show. I'm gonna have to get some fellas together to come on the show when we all talk about sports as a whole, so it won't just be my opinion, if you will. Let's see what happened. We got a game underway right now. It looks like the Eagles and the Buccaneers have started. The Eagles are 3-0 over the Buccaneers. That game has started already. That's right. They putting 2 games on Monday nights now. 2 games on Monday night. They normally was 1 game on Monday night. Now they're doing 2. The Rams and the Bengals. I think that one is up next, if you will. But anyway, the 49ers beat the Giants 30-12. The Browns beat the Titans 27-3. The Lions beat the Falcons 20-6. Both of those teams now are 2-1. The Saints nutted up. Saints choked and let the Packers come back and beat them 18-17. I'm mad at the Saints for letting that happen because I'm not a Green Bay fan at all, and I thought the Saints had their game in hand, but whatever happened, they just nutted up. And I'm gonna say that score for a minute. I'm gonna pass that one and come back to it in a minute. The Chargers over the Vikings 28-24, and Patriots 15-10 over the Jets. Jets got some issues since Aaron Rodgers went down. They're 1-2 right now, so we're gonna see what they do the rest of the season without the golden child out there. The Bills over the Commanders 37-3. Texans over the Jaguars 37-17. Colts over the Ravens 22-19. The Seahawks over the Panthers 37-27. Then we have the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes over the Bears 41-10. Cowboys lost. The Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. They lost 1-2 team coming into the game. All these Cowboy fans are saying that the Cowboys are the best team in the league, but they lose to an 0-2 team. It's their first win. Steelers pulled it out over the Raiders 23-18. I watched most of that game. Pretty good game. And the game of the day, the Dolphins over the Broncos. And I'm going to say the score. If you haven't heard the score yet, no, we're not playing basketball. We're playing football. The score is 70-20. The Dolphins beat the Broncos. The Fish beat the Horses. 70 points they scored. 70 points hadn't been scored in the NFL since 1966. I personally don't believe, I posted it on my page earlier, I don't think that anybody on the Broncos team or staff should get paid for that. You give up 70 points to anybody, and you only score 20. Now, both of y'all score 70 points, then we'll have to have a whole nother discussion. But you let somebody score 70 points on you in the NFL. These are people that's getting paid millions of dollars to play this game, and they can only they allow someone to put up 70 points. I can't only just blame the defense, because even though the defense gave up the touchdowns, the offense has a responsibility to put the defense in a position to where they don't have to play a short field all the time. The offense should just stay on the field, where they should keep the defense off the field as much as possible. And apparently that didn't happen. 70-20. Most points scored since 1966. There's only been 3 other games. There are 3 games that were more points than were scored in the history of football, but the last time it happened was 1966. And we have to go back to where they was wearing leather helmets to find that kind of score. So that's the world of sports and football this week. Got another exciting week coming up. Colorado USC is the game that's being talked about the most. I think it's going to set another record in regards to people that watch that game. Dion, you continue doing what you're doing. I appreciate how you handling the haters. And for you people out there hating on Dion, leave Dion alone. Let that man do what he do. Let that man be great. Let him be successful. Stop pulling him down. Stop talking negative about him, because he's doing some great things. So y'all stop hating. Show love sometimes. Show love. So, but it's time for me to get up out of here. It is coming up at the top of the hour. Time for me to move on. I'm not sure who we got on next. I think we got, let me not lie, because I'm not sure who's coming up next on WPMM Internet Radio. But continue to tune in. And join me on Thursday night where we will be back to talk about these issues again. Thursday night, we're going to make sure we talk about the government shutdown because we're coming up on that date real fast, and it's going to affect a lot of people if the government shut down. The Republicans are acting an ass, and they're doing it in spite of Democrats, and that's not the way to govern. And we'll talk about that on Thursday night. We'll table that to Thursday night. I want to thank you for joining me right here on WPMM Internet Radio on The Truth with G. Once again, thank you for 3+ years on the air. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for the support. Thank you for just recognizing, we are Black entertainment, if you will, Black entertainment, Black information. And appreciate your support. And I hope that you do continue to support. I will be back Thursday night. Until then, you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.